your host. Today's number is $1.3 billion. That is the projected size of AI market by 2030. AI market is growing and we cover AI as a subject in our business podcast as often as we can. By the way, I have an announcement. While the American Business Podcast is growing fast, I have just started another podcast, co-hosted with one of my colleagues, one of my friends, Anthony, and it is called Two Guys Tech Podcast. I'll also share some additional information about the podcast very briefly. I'll bring it to our screen so you can see some information. So the All Things Tech Two Guys podcast is designed to share educational knowledge and information about technology only. And having said that, Anthony and I, we are good friends and colleagues. We agree on certain things, but some things we don't agree. So we like to create these conversational podcasts, two of us as well as some other guest subject matter experts in technology, and we'll have different conversations in studio, in person. So I'm excited to announce this. And if you like to also subscribe to the Two Guys podcast, I'll also bring a QR code on the screen that you can subscribe to. It is the YouTube channel. We just launched our episode 1, and we talk about AI and how AI is impacting businesses. Also, whether or not regulate AI in general in business as well as in daily life. So it's a great conversation. I hope that you like it. So I'll just keep the QR code on the screen so you can just scan the QR code. It'll bring you to the YouTube channel. All right, great. So let's clean up the screen. And what we'll do is we'll start with our conversation with our guest. Let's invite our guest today to our virtual stage, and we're gonna talk about financial industry today. Beth, if we can invite our guest. Great, Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hi. Hello. How are you, Kevin?
Good, thank you. How are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. This is exciting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How is your week going so far?
Very well. It's Friday, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's gotta be good, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to have this chat with you, Kevin. So
I appreciate it. Thank you for being with us in your busy schedule. Well, the way that we design our podcast is always to share educational, informative content. And I'm excited to have you today in our podcast, and let's get our conversation started. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners, please?
yeah, absolutely. My name is Mark Healey. I'm the Executive Director of Retail and Business Development for the Element Group. I've been a banker for over 30 years before I joined the Element Group about getting close to about 5 years from now. But yeah, it's the group of Element. We actually we design and build branches for community banks and credit unions across the country. And me personally, I've led retail strategy, operations, and experience design across banks and credit unions for, like I said, over 30 years. We specialize at Element Group in helping financial institutions transform their branches and brand presence through, I'll call it design, digital signage, and marketing solutions into what I'll call retail-centric centers. We're passionate, Kevin, about, and to your audience, we're passionate about turning transactional spaces, which banking has typically been, into experience-driven environments that inspire trust, connection, and loyalty, and differentiates you from your competition. So that's a little bit about me, and a little bit about the Element Group.
Thank you. Well, how did you start your career? Can you tell us a little bit of background, please?
Oh yeah, well, you're gonna get me going back for a while.
Well, take your time.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, ever since I was a little kid, Kevin, it was all about being a banker. I was so thrilled about banking, and that continued throughout. I got born and raised in the Seattle area in Washington, and went to after getting my degree in business finance, because I was still, even as a little kid, I wanted to be that banker. I went and got a finance degree, and then I jumped right after college. I jumped right into it and never looked back. And and over the years, leading teams and new branches, modernizing the retail experience of several financial institutions. During that time, I collaborated with the Element Group on multiple branch transformations, and both on redesigning existing spaces, building new ones. So I was actually a customer of the organization I currently work with now. That partnership evolved naturally, and after seeing how aligned our visions were, we decided to join forces. Now what's really cool. I now bring that firsthand operational and leadership experience to helping financial institutions nationwide rethink their brand and their overall branch experience. So it's been quite the journey. So it's well over 3 decades, and I'm scared saying that because it gets me older thinking all the time. So
yeah, we keep it in the podcast, so that's okay.
okay.
Well, so the banking and actually finance industry is fascinating. So we are actually streaming from New York City, which is the capital of banking and finance industry in the nation. And I have a lot of colleagues in banking and finance, and I always see that excitement. I always see that that passion about the industry, and that's great to see that in your conversation as well. You have decades of experience, and in your career journey, especially, I like to focus on your work. In your work on daily basis, what are the challenging and exciting parts that you can share with our audience?
Yeah, well, I think that my work, as I kind of briefly mentioned, literally centers on helping financial institutions remain relevant in this, I'll call it a fast changing world. Make them understand that the branch truly is a retail store, and they should jump on board. And with that mindset, we, like I said, we design new branches, we create digital signage strategies, we offer marketing support to elevate their brand and their customer or member experience. But when you think about that, I'm talking about a retail in my responses here. And this exciting part, what I see is when you go from a blueprint all the way to ribbon cutting. You think about that. It's a concept that you started with, and all the way to now we're ribbon cutting, and a client or financial institution is evolving, they're changing, and they're expanding their wings. It's really cool. So that's really exciting. That's exciting for me, especially when you know that the results improve customer satisfaction and their employee engagement. It's pretty cool. But let's see, when you talk about the challenge, I guess the challenge is banking has been very, very conservative. And like I said, I briefly mentioned ago, is that trying to understand what a retail mindset is. So how do you try to balance that innovation where you think that the bank or the credit union should move toward, but it's been so traditional or conservative nature of banking. So you're trying to balance that innovation with the conservativeness of banking, and trying to make sure we respect that institution's legacy, while keeping in mind we want to push it forward. So that balancing act sometimes is a little bit of a challenge, because you know where the industry is leading, and it's like, come on, jump on our back. We're going to help you take you there.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the retail banking, from my personal experience, this is actually where the banks and financial institutions actually communicate and see their clients face to face. So that's an environment where they actually connect. So in that sense, what you design, the environment that you create, it also helps them further their connections with their clientele and create that environment for their brands, from my understanding. Would it be a right assessment?
Oh yeah, Kevin, that retail branches are, people always thought that as, hey, they're no longer just for transactions. They're advisory hubs, they're brand showcases, they're digital engagement centers. It's moving away from a transaction mindset. I'm sure you do, Kevin. I'm sure the audience does. You interact with your financial institution through your phone more times than you do through walking into a physical branch. So But yeah, whether it's traditional or financial, I think we all know that experience is everything. And we always say a little line in financial services that sometimes the bar is not that high because we all do the same thing. The financial institutions all do the same thing. They all sell checking accounts. They all sell auto loans. But how do you create an experience that is uniquely different from your competition? Because it doesn't take much to really differentiate yourself in the competitive landscape, which is pretty brutal. There's a bank or credit union on every corner. So that and if you there, or say the audience takes a look, that's why our URL, our website, we're the Element Group. And if you're going to Google theelementgroup.com, you won't find that. You're going to find us at everybitmatters.com for that specific reason. That's our tagline. Every bit matters. And it doesn't take much to really differentiate yourself and create that consistent and unique brand experience at every time. And we always talk about the online and the physical location need to come together and be the same. So how do you blend that? So that's what we work to do with our clients all the time.
How is the state of financial and banking industry nowadays in terms of trends, in terms of client relations, as well as retail banking experience? If you can share some insights from your experience, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I think that when we talk about that, and how does we start kind of like with a design. First, you think about the design, you think about the experience that you want your customers or your members to experience, and how do you wrap walls around that? And so with a retail mindset. So we always talk about creative design impacts how customers feel, how employees perform, and how the brand is perceived. And we also say, Kevin, that a well-designed brand can increase foot traffic, deepen emotional connections, reduce operation inefficiencies. There's a lot of friction. There's a lot of things that how do you make it really smooth for the customer? And it definitely is design. It's definitely more than aesthetics. It's about function. It's about storytelling and intent. Just like a really good retailer. I'm sure the audience can understand or have a retailer in their mind that the experience is just phenomenal. It's unique. It's consistent, no matter whatever location they go to. That's what we're trying to set in financial services. It truly sets the tone for the experience that client should experience. For example, we've helped, we help financial institutions reimagine what their lobbies can look like. How whether it's change them to hospitality type lounges, it's things that result in higher satisfaction, increased product engagement, and instead of being more order taker, we talk about how do you be more consultative and advisory in nature with the customers, because that's what they want. And there's a line I always like to say, Kevin, and I should say I should say the organization likes to say, is that we think about the elements, I guess all pun intended for the Element Group. The design is strategy. We always, sometimes people miss that. Design is strategy. We got branding builds the identity that we want to experience, and aesthetics drive the emotion, and training ensures execution inside that retail outlet, whether it's a store, whether it's a branch. And I always think that the return on investment component comes from the alignment of all those elements working cohesively and in concert with each other.
I like to actually learn about your insights about AI. That's a very popular subject. On our YouTube channel and other social media accounts, we can see what subjects are really popular. One of them is really AI. It is changing our lives. It's here to stay. That's how it looks. And I like to learn about your viewpoint. How you think AI will continue impacting businesses, and will AI replace jobs?
Great question, Kevin. And I'll start with probably the end piece. If you want my right opinion, is that businesses that view AI as a tool rather than a threat will be the ones who thrive for sure, 100%. But it is already reshaping how we do business. And let's not only in the traditional retail space, we know that, but in financial services, it absolutely is. From predictive analytics to member customer service automation, there's so much stuff that is built into that. I'm a firm believer. It's not about replacing people. It's about enhancing that performance, that experience I've been talking about. It enhances that experience and enables, I guess, professionals like you and I and bankers to focus on more high value tasks to deal with. Do something really cool for a customer and spend time with that customer and inside that physical space. So not only is AI working outside the physical space, it's absolutely working within the physical space as well. I think it'll absolutely take over the repetitive, and there's a lot of repetitive tasks that are in financial services. It'll take those over. Manual tasks, though, will create demand for new roles. I think we all know that. There, those who can manage that, who can interpret and ethically guide the use of what AI needs. So, as I said, to respond to this question, I think that you better look at it as a tool. If you're not looking as a tool, I'm going to go back to, you're missing the boat. Just like if you don't think your branches are retail stores, you're missing the boat there. So don't look at it as a threat. Look at it as an opportunity. So I'm going to be subscribing, Kevin, to your new podcast.
Thank you. Yes. So Two Guys podcast is also exciting. We'll be talking about technology in that podcast. Actually, our first subject is about the AI, right? And we talk about whether or not regulate AI and how it will be. There are many, unanswered questions, some things that we'll, experience and learn for all of us. But still, like thinking about it, talking about it, sharing ideas, and talking to professionals and leaders like yourself is really informative and educational. It's because one idea brings another idea, and we'll see how it's gonna shape. Interestingly, last week we talked about it with one of our guests, and he specializes in HR, Mark Agovino, and human resources and staffing. He mentioned that some companies already started adding AI agents in their organizational chart. Yeah. So that is showing that it's actually real and is here to stay. So even AI agents now getting their place in organization charts. So it shows us the change is actually happening in progress. So that's very interesting. And we'll see how it's going to shape. There was actually a couple of days ago, there was the news in the journal and in news about Amazon is reorganizing its workforce with the AI agents. That's another recent development. So it looks like we will learn about this every single day, and it'll basically shape our business landscapes and market. That's for sure. Mark, you have decades of professional experience. Have you had any role models? Do you have any role models that you can share with us for our audience to learn more about you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I will say that I've had several role models throughout my journey, and I guess leaders who lead with empathy, humility, and vision. There's an individual when I say that, admire. I'm from Seattle, so Starbucks capital of the world, and Howard Schultz. How he redefined customer experience in retail through culture. So I use that story a lot to our clients, and that just think that not only the brand that created the environment, the experience when you walk into one of the stores, it's consistent, but it's consistent, and they treat you incredibly well. So I always use that and say, how does that translate into financial services as well? From consistency, the brand, everybody knows you're walking in, whether the space is a circle, a square, a rectangle, whatever. Look, it all has a similar look. And what I said earlier about the training aspect, the execution of that, where it all comes to life, is it's done incredibly well. So that's been a mentor in terms of the business mindset about what we try to do as an organization, what I've been passionate about for over 30 years, that, gosh, how can we just speed up that process in financial services? So that is one. But I also look to mentors that I've worked alongside, and they're the individuals who just weren't afraid to make bold decisions, lift others up, and, they stay true to who they are, even in tough times. That's when the leadership really comes to shine. And when leaders, and I've been leading hundreds of people for over 3 decades, and I'm going, it's easier to lead when things are in really, really good times, but when things are tough, how do you manage through the storm? And it's those individuals, and I've got several that I've worked with, going back even to the 90s. I won't say his last name, but Don, who was a boss of mine for years, and I learned so much from him, and that shaped how I lead today and how to people. So but so hope that answers your question, Kevin. But that
yes, absolutely. How about some lessons learned in your career journey? Any lessons learned that you can share with us?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think a few that probably stand out is always be learning. Just be learning. In the industry, no matter what industry you're in, it changes fast. And I have a little line that I say, try to stay curious of what's out there. That's why I'm really intrigued upon your new podcast coming out, Kevin. But just stay curious and understand that relationships matter, and more than transactions. When those doors open up, trust, and walk through those doors. How important relationships are. And kind of what I'm doing right now, why I'm so passionate, enjoy what I'm doing now, is that don't be fearful for reinventing yourself. And the financial services industry is in the midst of that right now. And I think every CEO in the financial services space will tell you they agree. I agree with you, Mark. But how do you get there? How do we get there? Because it's such a monumental task, because there's been so much legacy, and which I told you with the challenges that we have. There's so much legacy processes, legacy mindset in terms of financial services. So I think some of my best chapters, my career began after major pivots in the industry. There's so many things that have outside external factors that played a role in switching gears and reinventing yourself, all the way going back to international banking, interstate banking back in the 90s, how that was a major change, and Y2K, and you fast forward all these economic COVID, all the stuff that changed. And so, but don't be fearful of that. Take that as an opportunity to change. And I would say probably don't wait to be invited to lead. Step up, speak up, serve others with purpose. Be passionate about that. Take time to lead and develop people. And so, and be proactive in that mindset.
What are your biggest passions and interests outside of work?
Family, for sure. The wife, for sure. 31 years of marriage. A couple
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, two wonderful grown kids. But so obviously family. I love traveling, and running is in all types of activities. I'm a runner. I love activities. So I'm at the gym or outside constantly. But I think from a real fun is being on the water. I'm a big boat guy. Whether I'm in a boat, getting pulled behind a boat, on a cruise ship sailing through the Caribbean, it's something about being on the water is things that I really enjoy. And I think that I'm also a big believer, Kevin, in that work-life balance. And I think that it fuels better leadership if I balance myself out, and staying connected to what I enjoy to do outside of the work personally helps me become more effective professionally as well. But so I just like I'm behind a computer inside an office. Once I shut that down, I'm outside. I'm doing something. So always just being active. So
Well, our most important mission in our podcast is to share education, knowledge, and information with today's and next generation professionals. For those who are thinking about getting into banking, finance industry, maybe design maybe designing in retail banking, do you have any career advice for them?
yeah, I absolutely do, Kevin. And the same thing. I remember having a similar story, is similar message with my sons who are 29 and 26 now. But I think the next professionals that whether it's in financial services or any type of industry, because as I said at the very beginning, financial services is retail. It truly is retail, and so I always learn to tell a great story. Be able to tell that story, and I go, from whether it's a marketing or any type of retail, brands that win are the ones that they connect emotionally. I go back to that Starbucks. They connect emotionally with the client. So learn to tell that. Get close to the customer. Get close to the customer and close to your people as well. But from getting close to the customer, walk the floors, listen to their feedback, live in their shoes. Sometimes we think we know what they want and we totally miss the boat. So just make sure you stay close and connected to your customer as well as your employees. Very similar. I used to have I shouldn't say used to, I still do, a term that I'd get out of my seat in my office, and I have all these branches that report to me. I walk down. I had a term and managed by walking around. And I don't mean by micromanaging. It's like being present. Make sure that create an environment that is open and inviting, and people can talk to you, and then you feel like that. Oh, you're going to speak to them, and you're in a leadership position. Make sure they know who you are and listen to them. And so they listen to their feedback, customers as well as employees. That's so important. And I'd say kind of what you've been a little bit talking in interjecting is embrace data, but don't forget the human side of marketing. But you got to embrace the data. You really have to, and stay adaptable. Tools may change, but the need of creativity, curiosity, and compassion never will. So,
appreciate it. Yeah, these are great insights. Thank you for that. And before we end our episode, what would be the best way to connect your company? Is there any website that you can share with our audience that they can visit and learn more about your organization?
Absolutely. It's The Element Group, everybitmatters.com. One word, everybitmatters.com. So yeah, I guess to wrap this thing up in a little bow, Kevin, is that everything we're saying, every little bit does matter in retail financial services. So that's what we think. Do something a little bit different. So please, and you can also you can reach me at Marc, M-A-R-C, at everybitmatters.com. I'd love to continue conversations with the audience.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for these insights, and thank you for being with us in your busy schedule.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me. I truly enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you like this episode as well. Well, if you like it, we have the QR code right here. You can subscribe to it and support our podcast. Subscribe, like, share your thoughts. These are very important for us, as these are really motivating us. And we bring you new content, educational, informative content every week. So we continue doing so. As you may know, we just actually reached 45,000 YouTube subscribers. Thank you very much for your support. And you can visit our YouTube channel if you haven't done so. Please subscribe, like. We appreciate your support. It means a lot to us, and we truly appreciate it. Do you have an idea? Would you like to share any feedback with us? You can always send us an email. Would you like to be a guest? Do you know someone who likes to be a guest? You can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast gmail.com. We keep an open mind. We love to hear from you. If you send us an email, if you reach out to us, we'll reply as quick as possible. And any feedback that you come from us, it means a lot to us. We also have a QR code. I keep it on the screen. You can also scan the QR code. This QR code will bring a form that you can fill, and you can share your thoughts and ideas. And if you like to be a guest, you can also get in touch with us as well in that way. Also, if you like to see what is coming on our podcast, you can visit our website, americanpodcast.tv. We keep a updated schedule there, weekly basis, and every week we announce on Mondays who will be our guest and what we'll be talking about. If you visit our podcast, americanpodcast.tv, as soon as you log in, you'll see the schedule posted right there. Also, you can learn more about our podcast, our team, our mission, and you can also watch some other chapters and episodes that we published. Also, we have a sponsor, IP Vanish VPN. If you need a VPN, I use IP Vanish, the solid system, and that's a system that you can consider. I also put a link on the screen that you can visit. You can get more information, and if you need a VPN, you can consider IP Vanish and subscribe. And as I mentioned in the beginning of my announcements, in the beginning of the episode, we have a new podcast. And that is the Two Guys podcast. We just actually started. That's an exciting podcast that we put together, and it just started actually last week with my good friend Antonio Lucidi. So we are co-founders and co-hosts of these podcasts. So we'll continue broadcasting on bi-weekly basis. So you can also visit our YouTube channel and subscribe as well. In this podcast, different from the American Business Podcast, we just talk about technology and technology alone. We start with with AI. We have ton of subjects to talk about, and we also have guest subject matter experts in our conversations as well in coming episodes. So more will be coming. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. Looking forward to having you in the coming The American Business Podcast.